Okay guys, what we have here, the Mavic Mini. I wanted to show it to you guys. We're out to fly it for the very first time. Dale just got it. My buddy Dale just got this thing. And here's what the Fly More combo comes with. Comes with all the stuff seen here on the table. We just kind of pulled it all out, threw it on the table here. And here is the thing right here. See, unfold this thing for you real quick. Give you a gander at it. There you have it. But yeah, there it is there. SD card slot back here with no cover, which I kind of like myself. This is where the battery goes. Battery already loaded. I didn't even know the battery was loaded because this thing is so crazy light. Gimbal guard, 249 gram, 249. And so there's that. Here is, let me see, get these from the front of the camera. I should have put the wide angle lens on here, I guess. But here you go. I mean, they're pretty close to, you know, the same size. I mean, the Air is definitely much heavier. The Mini, I mean, it feels ridiculously light. It's crazy. But they're really close to the same size unfolded. The Mavic Air is still slightly larger. It is noticeably heavier. You know, they're really similar. Really similar. And like I was saying, let me show you real quick. Here's the controller. So the Mavic Mini is missing the sport mode switch. It's missing the quick menu button here, and also the one here. See, it's missing the one here. Other than that, they appear to be the same. Oh, and the USB, the full-size USB connection here. This one doesn't have it. So anyway, we're gonna fly it. We're gonna get up in the air. We're gonna fly this bugger, see how it pans out. We're gonna fly it and we're gonna see if it flies like the Air. Does it fly like the Air? Well, let's find out.
Okay, after we got the Mavic Mini in the air, I took control of it and decided to just test out all of the different stick inputs and stuff and just make sure that everything was working like it should. During this flight, during this day, we flew the drone for a good 6 hours. Van has the capability of charging batteries while we're flying, so we just kept putting battery after battery through this, and we tried different devices to to fly it with, and we came to the conclusion really quickly that there is a small issue that people should know about right off the top, is that in Android, at least, I found that the drone would not operate with Android 7. So it works with Android 8, it works with Android 9, it does not work with Android 7. So if you have a tablet, like a lot of us do, that NVIDIA K1 tablet, it does not work with the new DJI Fly app. You can't load it, you can't side load it, you can't load it with ADB. I tried everything. I tried rooting the tablet, I tried everything. It does not work in Android 7 at all. Okay, also I wanted to get in here, mention that we charged the batteries. After we finished a flight, I would charge the battery, and just so on and so forth and so forth. There is something of note that I have not seen anybody else mention. The batteries take forever to charge on this drone. It takes about an hour, over an hour. It takes over an hour to charge a single battery. I usually go out with, 3 batteries, 4 batteries, something like that, and then I'll charge them as I go, and I'll spend the whole day flying. This drone here requires me to have more batteries on hand because you can't get a freshly charged battery as of now before you run out of batteries. So in the afternoon, about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, we found ourselves standing around waiting for batteries to be charged, which was kind of a negative. Also, I wanted to mention as the final negative that I found while flying this drone was this stuttering situation in the video feed. At first, when I first encountered it, I thought it might be like signal degradation or like the signal cutting out, but I don't think that that's what it was. It looks like that, it feels like that, like I was confused as to what was causing it. But there's sometimes the image, the feed will freeze, and you're left, trying to go, okay, what's going on? And then it comes back like, 3 seconds later. I think that this is just like a glitch in the app. I don't think that this is going to be like an ongoing thing, but it's something to note right now, because if you're trying to get lined up for a shot and it does this, you have to have the presence of mind to continue on with the sticks, even though you can't see on the camera. And I know a lot of pilots would be tripped up by this situation, and it tripped me up a few times too until I got used to it. But there is some sort of weird stuttering in the video feed on this drone. Now let's move on to the build quality of the drone. I've watched several videos from other popular YouTubers that do drone reviews and stuff. Kolsky RC, Captain Drone, Original Drobo, so on and so forth and so forth. They've had some negative things to say about the build quality. Now, I have a complete opposite opinion on this, and this is just my personal opinion. If you take into account that this drone is 249 grams, I pulled it out of the box. My initial impressions, the first time I saw this drone ever was in this video. You'll see, the beginning of this video. That's the first time I've seen this drone. I was really impressed by the build quality of this drone. I had the opposite impression. I thought that it's built really well. I thought that the plastic felt really well. Or felt really good, I should say. I didn't have a problem with the build quality on this drone at all. I was blown away, as a matter of fact. I thought it was excellent. I couldn't believe that they were able to make such a light, small drone and put it together so well. Now, that's my personal opinion. And keep in mind, like Captain Drone, for instance, he's had, hundreds of cheap junk, toy drones to compare to, and I haven't, but I have had a few drones, and I was impressed by the build quality of this drone. I don't think it feels cheap. I don't think it feels like it's going to fall apart. I don't think that the plastic feels, thin. I think it's designed really, really well. That's my personal opinion of it. So I guess we're in dark contrast there. Let's move on to how does it fly. Let's talk about that, and we'll talk about some other things where I disagree with some of the things that other reviewers have said about this drone. I have a Mavic Air, and I've had it for a long time. I've flown it a lot, so I can directly compare it, and I compared the Mavic Mini to the Mavic Air on this exact same day, at the exact same time, at the exact same place, in the exact same conditions. So my opinion is that this drone flies really similarly to the Mavic Air. It blows my mind how well this drone flies. I was bracing myself for a total disappointment, for a complete piece of crap. That's what I had in my head. I was like, there's no way that this thing's going to be worth a crap. And I was pleasantly surprised, and I was dead wrong. This thing flies really similarly. The stick inputs are slower than the Air. The Mavic Air responds to inputs a little quicker and faster. It flies a little bit faster by slight amount. If you didn't have them back to back and side by side, you'd never notice it. Now, the signal, how does the signal work on the Mavic Mini? What was my experience with that? I think that the signal, the Wi-Fi signal, the way that worked was, again, really similar to the Air, but I will have to admit that I think the Mavic Mini actually performs a little bit better in this area, and I think it's because the Mavic Air has the antennas on those front stubby leg things, and I've noticed that the Mavic Air is very directional. it responds much better when the antennas are pointed at you. So when you're flying away, that's when, you know, I've had some signal dropouts. But with the Mavic Mini, I didn't have as many of those signal dropouts. I think that the Mavic Air, as long as you understand where the antennas are and you take that into account when you're making your shots, I've had no problems with it, like other people have reported. But the Mavic Mini is slightly better. Now, as far as range goes, on this particular day, at this particular time, I felt that I'm in total disagreement with other people. I thought that the Mavic Air had a little bit more range. I mean, it's a little bit. It was just slightly more range. That was my personal experience. I think that maybe that just changes at the particular time, at the particular day. I don't know. But I thought it was noticeable enough that I could definitely tell that the Mavic Air had more range. Now, there are two other things that I need to mention about the Mavic Mini. First of all, the first thing is that the controller is not as good as the Mavic Air. There's definitely noticeable difference, and it's mainly in the stick area. The sticks are much stiffer, and it's not just because it's new, that kind of thing. It's just the controller doesn't feel as good. The sticks are stiffer. It's more difficult to get precision shots. And I think it's because that's clearly where they saved a little bit of the money. The other thing is when the Mavic Mini loses connection, and the time it takes for the Mavic Mini to lose connection and then turn around and come home, what happens on the app is it looks like the app has frozen and crashed. It's a very jarring thing. It's different than any other drone I've flown. It, like, the screen freezes and there's this long delay before the signal comes back, and you're like, holy crap. So this is negative in two different ways. One is that you're like, holy crap, what's happened to my drone, for a long time. And the other thing is that if you were trying to line up for a shot and just lost a signal, it takes you longer to get realigned back up to get that shot. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the app. What do I think about the app? It's a new app. It doesn't use the DJI Go 4 app. It uses a separate app for the Mavic Mini. And what do I think about it? I like the app overall. I think it's great. There are some bugs in it right now, though. The drone just came out. There are some noticeable bugs in the app. That's, I think, to be expected. I think that they're going to be worked out. So overall, I really like it. The thing I don't like, that I have a strong dislike for, is the fact that they have decided not to support Android 7. I think Android 7, it should have been part of their support, because that's not even that old. That's not old enough to drop support for. So I'm upset about that. Now, I can understand Android 6 and maybe later. Like, I get that, but not Android 7. I think that was a slap in the face for some Android users. Now, the difference between the iOS app and the Android app. Let's just briefly mention that. I had an iPad Mini 5th generation that we tried it with, and I also had an iPad 9.7-inch iPad Pro that we tried it with. And the iOS app worked fine. It worked fine, and if I'm gonna be honest here, I felt like it worked a little better. Like those stuttering things that I mentioned earlier, those seem to be less prevalent or less frequent in the iOS version of the app. So I definitely wanted to mention that part. So both apps function perfectly. I didn't have, not perfectly, but they both function well. I didn't have one version of the app work way better than another version of the app. So I just wanted to mention that. Finally, let's talk about what I think about the video quality of the Mavic Mini. Now, this is where it's going to start to look like I'm a DJI fanboy, and I assure you I'm not, but I calls it like I sees them. And I was honestly blown away. I don't know how else to describe the video quality I experienced with this drone. Was way better than I expected. The entire length of this video, I have shown you footage right off of the drone, and I've done that purposely. I wanted to show you different lighting conditions, different times where I faced into the sun, away from the sun. This was a very cloudy day. There are no ND filters, clearly, because they don't exist yet. So there's nothing going on. It's just the drone was set in automatic mode. I didn't even set the settings myself. I just let it set its own settings. And I feel like, for me, the video quality of this drone is awesome. Am I upset that it doesn't have 4K resolution? No, I don't think that a drone this size and the specific target for this drone that matters. I think I look at it a different way. I'm super happy that it's not 1080p, like the Spark, for instance. So I'm more of a positive on this thing. I know a lot of people are like, if it just had 4K drone. Well, they have a Mavic Air. If you want a 4K small foldable portable drone, that's the Mavic Air. This is not that drone. So 2.7 or 2K is I think amazing, and I think the video quality is equally amazing. I didn't touch anything. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say something that a lot of people aren't going to expect. The Mavic Air, I have always thought, had bad video quality unless you manually set the settings yourself. If you don't get in there and change the settings and adjust them yourself, I don't think the quality of the Mavic Air is good in automatic mode. This drone is in full automatic, and I think it looks better than the video quality of the Mavic Air. And I'll do another video, and I'll do comparisons to prove that to you, where I had the Mavic Air in automatic, I had this drone in automatic, and I'll prove that to you. So overall, the video quality of this drone is above my expectations by a lot. So I think that about wraps it up. If I didn't cover something, or if you have a specific question about the drone, I'll try and answer it for you. Just post it in the comments, and I'll try and get you an answer. Sorry for the length of this video, but there was a lot to cover. I wanted it to be thorough. I'm hoping that by the time this video is over, you have had all your questions answered. And I think a lot of people are out there comparing Mavic Air to Mavic Mini, and they're going, well, can I just get away with a Mavic Air? And I think as long as you don't need the features of the Mavic Air, I'm on the side of wholeheartedly yes, you can. So thanks for watching, guys. If you wouldn't mind, thumb it up if you've got anything out of the video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Talk at you later. We'll catch you on the next video. On that end.